On our return trip from Badwater Basin in Death Valley, California, my son and I took a detour along the scenic loop known as Artist Drive. The one-way road is clearly marked and turns west from Badwater Road, north of Devil's Golf Course, and south of Furnace Creek. It goes for about 9 miles, first heading up west towards the Black Mountains, then winding, curving, and meandering north, before finally turning east again to reconnect with Badwater Road. If you visit Badwater Basin, the Artist Drive Loop is well worth taking, as it only adds half an hour or so to your trek and gives you some of the most interesting, otherworldly scenery you'll ever see. The green, blue, and pinkish colors at Artist Palette, one of the stops along Artist Drive, are a result of weathering volcanic rock and ash. Death Valley is famous for its landscapes and for being the hottest and driest place in North America due to its lack of surface water and low relief. It is so frequently the hottest spot in the United States that many tabulations of the country's highest daily temperatures don't even bother mentioning Death Valley. On the afternoon of July 10, 1913, the United States Weather Bureau recorded a high temperature of 134 degrees Fahrenheit at Furnace Creek, just north of Artist Drive. This temperature stands as the highest ambient air temperature ever recorded at the surface of the Earth. Daily summer temperatures of 120 degrees Fahrenheit and higher are common. Death Valley is North America's driest spot, receiving about 1.5 inches of rainfall annually at Badwater Basin, and some years fail to register any measurable rainfall. Annual average precipitation varies from 1.92 inches at below sea level to over 15 inches in the higher mountains that surround the valley. When the rain does arrive, it often does so in intense storms that cause flash floods, which remodel the landscape and sometimes create very shallow ephemeral lakes. Around 1,000 years ago, the area was inhabited by the Shoshone Native American tribe. Because of the wide altitude differential between the valley bottom and the mountain ridges, especially on the west, the Timbisha practiced a vertical migration pattern. Their winter camps were located near water sources in the valley bottoms. As the spring and summer progressed and the weather warmed, grasses and other plant food sources ripened at progressively higher altitudes. November found them at the very top of the mountain ridges, where they harvested pine nuts before moving back to the valley bottom for winter. The California Gold Rush brought the first people of European descent known to visit the immediate area. In December 1849, two groups of California gold country-bound white travelers with perhaps 100 wagons total stumbled into Death Valley after getting lost on what they thought was a shortcut off the old Spanish Trail. called the Bennett Arcane Party, they were unable to find a pass out of the valley for weeks. They were able to find fresh water at various springs in the area, but were forced to eat several of their oxen to survive. They used the wood of their wagons to cook the meat and make jerky. The place where they did this today is referred to as Burned Wagons Camp. After abandoning their wagons, they were eventually able to hike out of the valley. Just after leaving the valley, one of the women in the group gave the place its name when she turned and said, "Goodbye, Death Valley." The ores that are most famously associated with the area were also the easiest to collect and the most profitable, evaporite deposits such as salt, borate, and talc. Borax was found by Rosie and Aaron Winters near the ranch at Death Valley, then called Greenland, in 1881. Later that same year, the Eagle Borax Works became Death Valley's first commercial borax operation. William Tell Coleman built the Harmony Borax Works plant and began to process ore in late 1883. This mining and smelting company produced borax to make soap and for industrial uses. The end product was shipped out of the valley 165 miles to the Mojave railhead in 10-ton capacity wagons pulled by the famous 20-mule teams. The first documented tourist facilities in Death Valley were a set of tent houses built in the 1920s, where Stovepipe Wells is now located. People flocked to resorts built around natural springs thought to have curative and restorative properties. In 1927, Pacific Coast Borax turned a crew quarters of its Furnace Creek Ranch into a resort, creating the Furnace Creek Inn and Resort, which still stands today. President Herbert Hoover proclaimed a national monument in and around Death Valley on February 11, 1933, setting aside almost 2 million acres of southeastern California and small parts of southwesternmost Nevada. Death Valley National Monument was designated a biosphere reserve in 1984. On October 31, 1994, the monument was expanded by 1.3 million acres and redesignated as a national park. Consequently, the elevated status for Death Valley made it the largest national park in the contiguous United States. We were fortunate to be in the park on a beautifully clear day with almost no cloud cover. The fall temperatures made for pleasant hiking at Zabriskie Point earlier in the day, but we were too short on time when we finally made it to Artist Drive, so we opted to stay in the vehicle despite the multiple turnoffs for hiking and photos. I'll definitely get out for a hike at Artist Palette next time through, though. Death Valley is one of the locations used to film the original Star Wars trilogy. I can't imagine another place on Earth so alien that it actually feels like I'm on the desert planet Tatooine. This is a beautiful, wild place. Bring lots of water if you come and plan to stay a while. There's so much to see, and unlike the Bennett Arcane Party of 1849, you won't want to leave.